As Pokemon Month comes to a close, we reach the part of time where I don't exactly own all of the games I'm talking about anymore. The Pokemon franchise expanded and expanded and expanded until it had many lines of games that I no longer kept up with. One of those was the Stadium series on the console games. For the GameCube, there were two of these games. One called Pokemon Colosseum, and the other one called XD Gale of Darkness. That doesn't really follow much of the line, does it? Anyway, 2004 Colosseum came out, and they decided to do something a bit different and a bit novel. They actually decided to try and do an RPG mode on a console game. How novel. And of course, this being the Pokemon company, they had to not quite give us what we wanted. We're still waiting on a true 3D RPG Pokemon game, and we'll probably have to wait a hell of a lot longer for that. But what they decided to do was mix it up a bit. Not only did they involve a darker story, but they did have an RPG story. It was different though. Along with the usual 3D battles, they had an RPG mode involving actually snagging evil Pokemon. I'll explain. So not only can your character steal other people's Pokemon, in battle, but the Pokemon he steals are evil shadow Pokemon who must be purified in order to be traded to the Game Boy Advance series, and in order to unlock all the moves has to be purified. When they're shadow Pokemon, sometimes they get out of control, so that's one of the problems with having them. You gotta train them and purify them in order for them to be regular Pokemon, I guess. Like I said, I didn't play the game, so I don't know too much about it. I did have a friend that really liked it, but I don't know. So the protagonist is kind of all dark and brooding like, and steals other people's Pokemon. It's basically the gist of the game. He wanders around this desert wasteland area, fights people from this evil Cypher organization, and takes their Pokemon that they've manipulated into being evil and purifies them and saves the day. That's basically it. Along the way, he meets a lot of second and third generation Pokemon, and again, this is a way to get those Pokemon to the Game Boy Advance series, which was cool. Ho-Oh is in the game. I don't know if you can catch him, but he's in there. Now, following that was XD Gale of Darkness, which came the next year in 2005 to the United States. On the cover of this was a Shadow Lugia, and that was the big selling point of this game, a Shadow Lugia. Ooh, it's dark and scary. And yes, you can catch it and purify it. I believe there were a lot more Shadow Pokemon in this game. I'm kind of talking out of my ass at this point, but included a Shadow Lugia, I believe a Shadow Tyranitar, and other big beastly Pokemon like that. I believe you cannot purify a Pokemon, or you cannot evolve a Pokemon until it's purified. So again, extra incentive to be a nice guy and purify them. I know at least in XD Gale of Darkness, and maybe Colosseum too, the focus was on double battles. You ran around with an Umbreon and an Espeon, and you kicked ass in double battles. Which was, a cool thing to promote. Double battles were a concept that they created in the third generation that needed to be focused upon, and they did in this. Now, XD Gale of Darkness had a lot of criticism because it had a lot of recycled material from Colosseum. A lot of the areas were the same. Game engine was pretty much the same. It was just a lot of the same deal. And that was supposed to be the main focus of the game, was the actual RPG mode, and it seemed kind of, recycled, which is never a good word in video games. So people weren't too sure about that. Really, the whole thing was disappointing to me, because I've always wanted a 3D, traditional Pokemon RPG or something that expanded upon it and made it even more exciting. But it was not to be. And like all 3D Pokemon games, they are not quite the same as the Game Boy games. So still to this day, the only real Pokemon experience on a console system is playing one of the handheld games on a Pokemon Stadium, and that's 1 and 2. I don't think you can do it with Colosseum or anything like that. So those are the two stadium games for the GameCube. Next video, I'll talk about two of the new handheld series they started churning out in the 3rd generation, which again, I have not played, but I will talk about like an idiot.